But first, our top story tonight, a new low for Democrats and the legacy media mob. They don't know what the word shame means. Now, for the past week, many on the left were blatantly rooting against our military, our country. God forbid Donald Trump does something right, we can praise him, and proudly touting a ridiculous claim that the U.S. strikes, I'm talking about the massive 14 bunker buster bombs against Iran's nuclear facilities, were somehow a failure in what has now become an all too predictable pattern. A bogus report designed to make Donald Trump look bad was eagerly and selectively published despite a mountain of red flags, including, quote, low confidence classification. Basically, they looked at a picture from a satellite. That phony story then became the talk of the town in D.C. and the swamp, fueled by obsessive, compulsive, nonstop rage and hatred and coverage by MSDNC, fake news CNN, the New York Times, and virtually every other left-wing, legacy media mob member in the country. And at the center of this hit piece, the usual suspects, including a so-called reporter named Natasha Bertrand. Never really heard of her. She's exactly the embodiment of why CNN is known as fake news CNN, because for years this sad excuse for, quote, a journalist has been the deep state's go-to helper for smears all against Donald Trump. Caroline Levitt was way on her game today. She crushed it and described it perfectly, and that is Natasha Bertrand's track record. It's beyond laughable, and her reports should never be taken seriously. Take a look.
It was Natasha Bertrand who had 51 intelligence analysts falsely lie to her, but she still put it on paper for some reason, that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. We all know that's not true, right? We can all agree on that now. That was a lie from the intelligence community. Also in 2020, this same reporter, Natasha Bertrand, wrote that a top intel agency ruled out the man-made lab leak theory of the coronavirus origins. Again, the president was right about that. This reporter wrote a lie from the intelligence community to seek a narrative she wanted to prove, and guess what? We now know that's the truth. Also, in 2024, Bertrand pushed the suckers and losers hoax. She also pushed the fine people hoax, which was taking the president's words purposely out of context. And then last October, and I believe this is notable, Natasha Bertrand published an article in Politico from the intelligence agency. She said that John Ratcliffe was speaking without any evidence when he said Iran was attempting to undermine President Trump's presidential campaign. And then we, of course, found out that was absolutely true. In fact, the Biden administration declassed an intel report which said they had high confidence that Iran had done exactly what Ratcliffe alleged. They did run an influence campaign to hurt President Trump's candidacy. In fact, we know the Iranians tried to take President Trump's life. And so this is a reporter who has been unfortunately used by people who dislike Donald Trump in this government to push fake and false narratives.
Now, take a look at your screen. Natasha Bertrand has been wrong about almost everything. They call her a reporter. Now, that's because she clearly has an agenda. She's a radical leftist. She's not interested in the truth. She pushes these conspiracy theories, and fake news CNN calls her a reporter, and everything is to defame Donald Trump and protect her Democratic allies. It's that simple. And so it comes as no surprise that her latest reporting is also completely and utterly wrong. According to the nuclear watchdog at the UN, IAEA, the centrifuges at Iran's Fordow nuclear facility no longer operational. The CIA, Iran says Iran's nuclear program was severely damaged by U.S. strikes. Also, according to Israeli intelligence, quote, and I will read it, the devastating U.S. strike on Fordow destroyed, let me repeat, destroyed, obliterated, you pick your adjective, destroyed the site's critical infrastructure, rendered the enrichment facility inoperable. We assess that the American strikes have set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons by many, many years. Even Iran themselves admitted their nuclear sites were badly damaged. The Department of Defense released a visual to help members of the legacy media mob understand how America's massive 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs were able to obliterate Iranians' heavily fortified nuclear facilities. The only voice of reason in the Democratic Party, God bless John Fetterman. He put it this way: to those who were unimpressed or borderline gloating on a leak, Operation Midnight Hammer worked. I have been calling for and fully supported those strikes, and it made the world safer. It should transcend partisan politics. Senator Fetterman absolutely got it right. Unfortunately, almost no one in his party agrees with him. In fact, his Democratic colleagues, they tried extra hard. What, to try to make our military, our operation here look like a failure? What, just to get one over on Donald Trump? The left's Trump derangement syndrome, clearly, it knows no bounds. But there is a bigger problem, and it's also the smear on the courage, the success, the precision, the bravery of the incredible men and women that serve this country, protect all of your freedoms, all of your liberties, those people that risk their lives in this very dangerous and very successful military action. Why do you have to smear them? And today, the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Raisen Kane, had this to say about the successful strike. And by the way, the brave men and women who carried this mission out, God bless them. Thank you. Take a look.
The Joint Force does not do BDA. By design, we don't grade our own homework. The intelligence community does. But here's what we know following the attacks and the strikes on Fordo. First, that the weapons were built, tested, and loaded properly. Two, the weapons were released on speed and on parameters. Three, the weapons all guided to their intended targets and to their intended aim points. Four, the weapons functioned as designed, meaning they exploded. Operation Midnight Hammer was the culmination of those 15 years of incredible work. The air crews, the tanker crews, the weapons crews that built the weapons, the load crews that loaded it.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.